Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Siti Nur Shiha binti Nurhata with student ID number 2025658376. Today I would like to introduce you guys about our report, a chain and cooperative between 7-Eleven and My News. So this study compares the financial performance of two well-known convenience store chains, which is 7-Eleven and My News, over a selected period. It checks their profitability, liquidity, operational efficiency, and overall performance. We use financial ratio analysis, trend analysis, and key indicators to see their strengths and their weakness. The result will show on how they perform and handle changes in the retail industry. Financial analysis like this will help companies make better decisions and stay competitive. So this study may be useful for students or investors and anyone interested in the retail industry.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Sharifah Nuhazwani binti Zaid alias 2025276068. Next, I will present the background of 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven started in 1927 in Dallas, Texas. Founded by Jesse Thompson, it was originally called the Southern Ice Company and mainly sold ice cream. Later, the business expanded when the founder started selling basic groceries like milk, bread, and egg during time when normal grocery were closed. This is where the idea of convenience retail began, meaning customers could buy essential items anytime they needed. The name 7E was later introduced based on its operating hours from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. for 7 days a week. In 2009, 7-Eleven made a big shift in its business model by introducing fresh food option. This include like freshly brewed coffee, hot beverage, as well as packaged fresh food and bakery product. To maintain the quality, all food items go through strictly quality control process to make sure they are fresh and safe for customer. Overall, 7-Eleven function as a one-stop convenience store by offering essential services such as bill payment, gift card, top-up, and daily necessities. This is making it highly convenient for customers' daily need.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Alia Misha binti Muhammad Zakaria. My matrix number is 2025270624. My part that I will present today is the company background of My News. My News was founded by Dang Tai Luk in 1996 in Petaling Jaya, Selangor. It started as a small newsstand and has grown to one of Malaysia's leading convenience store chains. And My News reflect its extended operating hours, which are from 7 a.m. until 11 p.m. operating 7 days a week. At a glance, My News has more than 530 outlets across Malaysia as of June 2020 and serve around 6 million customers every month. The company also has strategic partnerships with global brands such as WH Smith, Gourmet Kinaya, Royal Bank, Pen Packing Co. In addition, My News operates a modern food processing center in TADOM with more than 2,000 employees. My News offer a wide range of products including fresh bakery items, smart coffee, daily essential, and ready-to-eat meals. These products are designed to provide convenience for customers. My News started as a small 200 square foot newsstand in 1996. Today, it has transformed into a modern convenience store by offering fresh food, beverage, bakery products, coffee, and daily essentials to meet customers' needs.
Hello everyone, my name is Nur Najwa binti Bahruddin. I will present the liquidity ratio analysis for 7-Eleven. The current ratio improved from 0.81 in 2021 to 1.16 in 2023, which indicates that the company was able to cover its short-term liabilities during the period. However, the ratio declined significantly to 0.61 in 2025, showing the deterioration in liquidity. Similarly, the quick ratio increased from 0.30 in 2021 to 0.80 in 2023, but then dropped sharply to 0.20 in 2025, indicating a reduction in liquid asset available to meet short-term obligations. Now, let's look at the liquidity ratio for my news. The current ratio decreased from 0.95 in 2021 to 0.69 in 2022, showing that the company's short-term liquidity weak. However, it gradually recovered to 0.88 in 2025, indicating an improvement in its ability to meet short-term obligations. For the quick ratio, it also dropped from 0.24 to 0.14 in 2022 before recovering slightly to 0.30 in 2023 and remaining relatively stable between 0.27 and 0.29. This slide shows the activity ratio for the 7-Eleven from 2021 to 2025, which includes account receivable turnover and total asset turnover. For account receivable turnover, the ratio was relatively stable in 2021 and 2022. It then increased significantly in 2023, which shows that the company was more efficient in collecting receivable during that year. However, in 2024, the ratio dropped to 0. This may be due to no credit sales being recorded or missing data in that year. The ratio increased again in 2025, but it is still lower compared to the peak in 2023. For total asset turnover, the ratio increased from 2021 to 2022, showing better efficiency in using asset to generate sales. However, it declined in 2023, which indicates that the company was less efficient in utilizing its asset during the year. After that, the ratio gradually improved in 2024 and 2025, showing a recovery trend in asset utilization. Overall, the activity ratio shows a fluctuating trend, but there is a slight improvement toward 2025, especially in terms of asset utilization. This slide is about the activity ratio for my news company from 2021 until 2026, which include account receivable turnover and total asset turnover. For account receivable turnover, we can see the trend is quite unstable. It increased sharply in 2022 is 237.03, which shows better efficiency in collecting debt at that time. However, after that year, the ratio kept decreasing until 2025, where it dropped to 60.68. This indicates that the company is taking longer time to cool receivable and the collection efficiency is getting weaker over time. For total asset turnover, the trend is more positive. It increased consistently from 0.77 in 2021 to 1.35 in 2025. This shows that the company is becoming more efficient in using its asset to generate revenue. Overall, asset utilization is improving year by year.
Next is the leverage ratio for 7-Eleven. The debt to equity ratio decreased from 11.43 in 2021 to 6.08 in 2023, showing that the company reduced its reliance on debt. Also, it increased slightly in 2024 and 2025. It remained lower than in 2021. For the debt ratio, it stayed relatively stable, decreasing from 0.92 to 0.86 before increasing slightly to 0.87 in 2025. Overall, 7-Eleven maintained a stable financial position with better debt management. Now let's look at the minus. The debt to equity ratio increased slightly from 0.025 in 2021 to 0.033 in 2025, which means the company relied a little more on debt financing over the years. There was a small decrease in 2023, but the ratio increased again afterwards. The debt ratio remained quite stable, ranging between 0.61 and 0.65 throughout the 5 years. Overall, Minu still maintained a stable debt level, but it should continue managing its debt carefully to ensure long-term financial stability. Based on the leverage ratio, Minu has a lower debt to equity ratio and debt ratio than 7-Eleven. This means Minu relies less on debt financing and has lower financial risk compared to 7-Eleven. Average ratio 7-Eleven.
My name is Nur Sofia binti RC. First, let's look at the operating margin 7-Eleven. The operating margin increased from 2021 to 2022. However, it dropped a lot in 2023. This means the company earned less profit from the daily business operation. In 2024, the operating margin improved, showing better operating performance. But in 2025, it decreased again to the lowest level. Overall, the operating margin is not stable because it went up and down during the 5 years. Next is gross margin. The gross margin increased from 2021 until 2023. This showed that 7-Eleven became better at controlling the cost of goods sold. Although the margin decreased slightly in 2024 and stayed almost the same in 2025, it remained above 30%. Overall, the gross margin was quite stable and showed good cost management. Now, let's look at minus. The operating margin was positive in 2021. However, it became negative in 2022 and stayed slightly negative in 2023. This means the company had operating losses during these 2 years. In 2024, it became positive again. It increased further in 2025, showing that minus improved its operating performance. Overall, minus showed a strong recovery after facing losses. Next is gross margin. The gross margin increased every year from 2021 to 2025. This means Minus became better at controlling the cost of goods sold and earned more profit from its sales. By 2025, the company recorded its highest gross margin. Overall, Minus showed continuous improvement in gross profitability.
Based on the cross-sectional analysis for 2025, Minus has a stronger liquidity position than 7-Eleven. This is shown by its higher current ratio of 0.88 compared to 0.61 and the higher quick ratio of 0.27 compared to 0.20. However, both companies recorded liquidity ratio below the recommended benchmark of 1.0, indicating that they may face challenge in meeting short-term obligations. Therefore, both companies should improve their working capital management by increasing current assets, strengthening cash flow, and reducing current liabilities to enhance their liquidity performance. Okay, from this comparison, we can see that Minus performs slightly better in terms of total asset turnover compared to 7-Eleven. This means Minus is able to generate a bit more sales from its asset. So overall, it is using its resources more efficiently. However, when we look at account receivable turnover, 7E is performing much better. The ratio is significantly higher, which shows that 7E is collecting payment from customer much faster compared to Minus. This suggests that 7E has better credit control or more efficient cash collection practices, while my news take a longer time to collect its receivable. So overall, even though both companies are performing well, their strengths are different. My news is slightly better in asset utilization, while 7E is much stronger in managing and collecting receivable quickly.
Next is the leverage ratio for 7-Eleven. The debt to equity ratio decreased from 11.43 in 2021 to 6.08 in 2023, showing that the company reduced its reliance on debt. Also, it increased slightly in 2024 and 2025. It remained lower than in 2021. For the debt ratio, it stayed relatively stable, decreasing from 0.92 to 0.86 before increasing slightly to 0.87 in 2025. Overall, 7-Eleven maintained a stable financial position with better debt management.
Overall, my news required stronger profitability than 7-Eleven. Its gross profit margin was 38.28% compared to 30.82% for 7-Eleven, while its operating profit margin was 3.88% compared to 3.29%. This indicates that my news managed its direct costs and operating expenses more efficiently, resulting in better overall profitability.
Alright, so as a conclusion, from 2021 to 2025, my news actually showed more consistent performance. Profit grew steadily, liquidity stayed stable, and they used their assets better. The only downside is their accounts receivable turnover dropped, which basically means customers took longer to pay. 7-Eleven, on the other hand, had more uneven results. The, their gross their gross profit margin stayed stable and they collected payments faster. But after 2023, their operating profit and liquidity both dropped. To wrap up, my news from 2021 to 2025 was more consistent, steadily profit growth, and stable liquidity, better asset use, just slower customer payments. 7-Eleven kept margins stable and collected cash faster, but profit and liquidity fell after 2023. So, my news had the stronger position overall. Thank you, that's all for us.
Based on the cross-sectional analysis, my news demonstrate better overall finance performance than 7-Eleven, particularly in terms of liquidity, asset utilization, and profitability. Therefore, 7-Eleven should focus on improving liquidity by strengthening working capital management, reducing short-term liabilities, and maintaining sufficient cash flow. The company should also enhance asset utilization by increasing sales efficiency and maximizing the productivity of its existing assets. In addition, 7-Eleven should improve profitability by reducing operating costs and increasing the sale of higher margin products. Although 7-Eleven performs better in account receivable turnover, it should continue maintaining an effective credit collection policy to ensure healthy cash flow. Overall, this improvement will help strengthen the company's financial performance and enhance its competitiveness and the convenience store industry.